All right, welcome. Class is in session. I got my whiteboard here. Today we're going to talk about sleep paralysis versus the hypnagogic state. Now, these are two things that you can experience in your sleep. Sleep paralysis, I have way more experience with. I started getting it when I was younger, like high school. And then I started recently experimenting with the hypnagogic state here. Um, and they're very similar, but there are some key differences. So let's go ahead and talk about that. As for sleep paralysis, if you've ever experienced this, when you're asleep at night, basically, as it says, you feel like you're paralyzed. You feel stuck, and it's a feeling that you don't quite get in the hypnagogic state. At least not to this degree. It's a stuck feeling that it also can feel kind of rough and scary for a lot of people. Um, it feels almost as if you're like trapped in your body, and you know with the paralysis, you're unable to speak, you're unable to move. So it's very uncomfortable for most people, as it was for myself, and it made going to sleep at night when I was younger super scary at one point. Um, However, you can get over it. There's tips and tricks, which I'll talk about at another point. But another key thing about sleep paralysis, though, is that it can be triggered from any sleep position. So whether you're on your back, you're on your side, it really doesn't matter too much. It's almost like if you're gonna get it, you're gonna get it, and that's kind of what it is. Now, like I said, there are some differences here between the hypnagogic state, which are pretty key. Um, the feeling of stuckness is still kind of there with the hypnagogic state, but you have way more control here. Um, you know you're kind of asleep and aware you're in that kind of weird in between. But at any moment, you can wake yourself up, and it's really not too difficult. So that's why I say here it's also much smoother. So you don't have to necessarily. It's not that same feeling of panic or fear that you'll feel within sleep paralysis. Now another key thing though, however, is that I've only ever been able to trigger it through the back sleep position. So laying on my back, um, I kind of got to put in effort if I want to experience this. Um, how I'll kind of know that I'm in it is I'll lay there for some time and then I'll start actually snoring, but I'm still awake. So that might sound a little crazy, but um, that's pretty much what it is. And so I'll know I'm there. Both of these can be used to pretty much go into an astral projection or an outer body experience. Now, me, I have actually never experienced that. So it's a little tricky on whether or not astral projection is the right terminology um, versus, outer body experience, because technically when you're dreaming at night, that's already an astral projection. You're already out there in the dream world. Um, and there's layers to it, there's levels essentially. So sometimes you might be conscious, you might have like a lucid dream, or sometimes it's what I usually have, which is just I kind of call it like a show almost. It's almost like you're at a theater and you're just watching your dream play out, if that makes sense. Almost like it's a movie. Um, Now to finish off, we're just gonna talk about what both of these kind of have in common. Three things here. Um, Number one thing is that you can feel that the other realms are there, other presences, almost like a sixth sense. Um, that's definitely, I would say, sleep paralysis. You'll hear often about people say like, oh, they saw figures, they've heard things. Now I've definitely experienced that, but in both of them, you can kind of just feel if you're calm and you're quiet. You can kind of tell through like intuition. Okay, yeah, somebody else is here, or whatever. Um, and that's not necessarily like a weird thing, because it's happening at all times, all around us. You feel me? Even as I'm recording this video right now, you know what I mean? I'm not alone. I've got my own spirit team, ancestors, guardian angels, guides, and then there's also there's other spirits that are around, in that realm. So number two, both of them though you can't move instantly. Now, like I said, hypnagogic state is a lot smoother. You'll be able to get out of it much quicker within like a couple seconds, but you're gonna notice that your body was pretty much asleep, so it's gonna take a moment to kind of shake it out. Um, and then lastly, though, they both can take about like 5 to 10 minutes to initiate, so it's not gonna be an automatic thing. But also it won't be too long either once you kind of lay down, especially if you're tired. Um, 5 to 10 minutes on average, maybe 15, depending on what you're thinking about. you know what's going on in your head, if you're restless or if you're just calm. So yeah, that's the hypnagogic state versus sleep paralysis, pretty much on a basic level. And yeah, you know, if you've ever experienced that before, let me know. Drop a comment. You know, if you liked it, you can relate. I would appreciate a like. So yeah, until the next topic though, y'all take care. Later.